Hello, guys. So, today is Independence Day. Well, actually, tonight is Independence Day. I know I'm quite late to this. You can see it's 7:23 p.m. Now, I tried to make a special message video for I've thought about it since last month, and I filmed yesterday, but it took me 54 minutes, and no one will really watch a 54-minute video. And I made another one which is short, but then it felt no substance at all. So I'm here making this feel like an impromptu video, but at the same time I will try to make this as meaningful as possible. Today is Independence Day for us, 12th of June, here in the Philippines. If you're a foreigner, for an international viewer, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for viewing my video. Now, I believe that this message shouldn't just be for us Filipinos, but it should also be for the world. I have to make this into a dual message because I just feel like everyone should hear this. Now, you read the title. Humanity transcends politics. What does this mean? It means that despite of the ideology of a person or who this person voted for, our humanity is still there. We need to be ready to help them. We need to be able to sympathize with them. We need to be able to be kind to them, even though they don't like our ideology, or they respectfully don't agree with us. Now, why am I even talking about this in the first place? You're probably saying yourself, shouldn't this be common sense? Unfortunately, and everyone probably knows this, it is not common sense. Sometimes humanity does not transcend politics. We are too blinded by politics to the point that we hate on this one person just because they don't agree with us or we don't agree with them. And it gets to a point where there would be fights. It gets to a point where it would be like, okay, stop talking. I don't want to talk to you anymore because of what happened. This also happens within families. Back in 2022, the elections here in the Philippines, we had a presidential election. I believe because of politics, some families were separated because they had different politician idols or something. And that is what's sad, is that we are so divided by politics, we forget that we are human in the first place. We need to be taking care of each other. We need to be there for each other. No matter how many disagreements we have, we are humans, and also we are family. But it also gets to a point where you really need to leave if you can't really bear it anymore. That's where you have to leave. When you can't bear it anymore. You don't have to stay. That's alright. That's understandable. But sometimes in simple misunderstandings like this, we can still fix it. Especially with family. You disagree with a certain politician. Why even idolize a politician in the first place? Why not think that, they have a different view from me, but I don't really mind. They do them, they will eventually realize. How did we forget that eventually consequences will happen for them? Because they did this in the first place, so obviously the consequences would apply to them. But in this case, since it's a presidential election, it would apply to us. So the consequences does not only apply to them but also to us. But that doesn't mean that we should blame them because they voted for this guy. The one we should be blaming right now is the one who they voted, because Their words were too convincing to the point that they actually couldn't do what they promised. So back to the humanity transcends politics. This does not just apply here in the Philippines, but I believe it applies throughout this whole planet. This planet that we're on, which is Earth. I want to remind you that we are on a planet full of people. Obviously, we're on a single planet full of people. The only problem is that because we are different people, we are we all have different political view, uh, stance, ideology, and this sometimes divides us because of stereotypes. And also stereotypes also applies to nationalities. I believe that despite all of these differences, we should still look at each other as a normal human being who is just trying to live their life. You know, if you live under a rock, recently an earthquake happened here in the Philippines. It was in General Santos, I think. So, this is in Mindanao. And when we talk about politics, Mindanao kind of gets a bad reputation in politics because they vote for this specific politician. I'm not going to be dropping names, by the way. I'm so sorry, but because they vote for this specific politician, Mindanao kind of gets a bad reputation. Well, they actually do get a bad reputation. Now there are like comments, or there are people who said that they deserve the earthquake just because they voted for that specific politician, and that is wrong. That is very wrong. They do not deserve that in the first place, just because they were convinced too much by the words of a liar. It is not them who did this or did that. It is the politician that did it. Their words were too convincing to the point that the people just became like, oh, okay, yeah, their words were too convincing. So we shouldn't be telling them that they deserve it. No, it's just bad. It's really really bad. It's more than bad actually. A bad is an understatement. It's horrible. It's horrible. That's a horrible thing to say. And I'm gonna close this video now. But before I do, in some of my rant videos like this, I always talk about unity. Not not the current president's unity, but unity as a Filipino people, where I just imagine that we would not be divided by any politician or any ideas or any ideology. I mean, where we're just one. We're just, hey, look, we're all Filipinos. We agree with this. We agree in that. Unfortunately, that is not happening right now. That is not the case right now. There is so much that is happening that we can't agree to one thing. And I want to talk about unity. Now, in some of my past videos, I've called specific groups of people stupid. You may have seen it. My dad has seen it, which is why he told me to reprise that video. And if someone from that specific group of people saw that video, I just want to say that I am sorry. Because it is really ironic, and it's also, I recognize it as hypocritical, because I am a hypocrite, that I would be talking about unity, but then I would be calling a specific group of people stupid. That was not the right thing to do, and I apologize. I am sorry. And to those, to the people that belong to that specific group, I hope that you can forgive me, but I want to tell everyone right now, as in everyone who's watching this video. This video may only have 15 views. I don't care. You 15 people, you might be of different political ideologies, but I want all of you 15 people to listen to me right now. How do you think should we cooperate with each other? It's by talking, right? Well, it isn't as simple as talking. There's a lot of coordination in cooperation. It's not as simple as talking, especially because you 15 people, you are of different political ideologies, you vote for different politicians, you think differently, and you think uh, about what's good for the country. You have different thoughts for what is good for the country. I want to tell you that if we will always disagree on something, our country will never move forward. That's why we should make a decision now on whether we should cooperate or not. We should make a decision now on what to do with all of this in our country or not. Because if we start moving now, eventually in the coming future, we will see. How do I phrase this? We will see the fruits of what we planted. We planted it now, and when the future comes, we will see the fruits that it bore or bear, and everyone will be like, oh, this is so beautiful. So this is what happens when we just cooperate with each other, when we just put aside the politics, when we just think as one. I mean, we should still have the right to think individually, which is why I'm even making this video, because I have the right to think individually. But when it comes to who is good for the country or what should benefit us, it should be one thought. Like, oh, it should be this guy. He's good, and he lets us do this. Not the bad thing, but like he lets us do the good thing. The country should be united on decisions that will be making the country better, or that will be making the country great. Right now, that is not possible, and that cooperation thing I said earlier, it may be easy as it sounds, but it's hard. It will take years to do something like that, especially because of the state of the country right now, because divided by this side with that side. But I still believe that this country would eventually someday come to a single decision saying, we've had enough. We've had enough. Someday everyone will say that we've had enough. Everyone in this country will say that we've had enough, and eventually just vote for someone different. We will not vote for the same people, even though they may be good or they may be bad, or they're like this or like that. I believe we need something different. We need someone different. We can't just stick to the old ways. If we want to progress, we must do something different, or we must vote someone different. Because if we are just going to vote for the same person over and over again, I don't think we'll progress, and I don't think things will even change. The only thing that's going to change is the I don't even know. Nothing is going to change. So right now, or maybe in the next election, maybe think outside the box. Maybe in that ballot, maybe just don't choose the more famous person, because I don't know, it's been a loop. we're gonna be stuck in the loop if we keep choosing the same person. It does not apply. That does not just apply to politics. It also applies to your life, right? You don't want to stay with that same person when they've done something bad to you, because it's just a loop. It's just gonna be a loop. It's gonna happen again. It's gonna be like this, something like that. You don't want that, right? It also applies to this. We don't want to be stuck in this loop. We must choose someone differently. So, will you make the decision to cooperate with us? Will you cooperate with us? Will you share your thoughts with us? And also, one more thing. When we talk to people who have or who prefer other politicians, we shouldn't be cursing them out. No. I just realized that because that's what I did on video. I called them stupid, I called them this, I called them that. I believe that we shouldn't be doing that. We should be instead just talking to them gently. We should be hearing their thoughts. We should be listening to them, because we don't know why they even actually voted for that, for that specific politician. Maybe again, they just got their words. The politicians' words were just too convincing that the people just voted for them. And look where we are at now. It's not the people's fault. It's the politicians' fault. They're the mastermind here. They are the reason why our country is in this. But obviously, despite of all the bad things, we still have good politicians out there who are improving this country one by one, step by step, because they believe that this country belongs to us, doesn't belong to the politician. It belongs to us Filipinos. It belongs to us. And I also want to say one more thing, is that the politicians are our workers. They work for us. We pay them. If you think about it, you pay your taxes, right? So it means that you are actively giving the politician their salary. But without our taxes, these politicians wouldn't even be getting paid in the first place. So think about it. But come on, don't commit tax fraud just because you don't wanna fund this specific politician. I believe it would vary. It would just not go to a single person, but it would go to every other politician out there, including the good ones. But anyways, I will close the video here. Again, thank you so much for watching this. I hope that someday you could just unite as a country, forget about politicians, and just be, this is good for the Filipino. And happy Independence Day. Goodbye.